hello, all of my fantasy fanatics. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Don's Fantasy Playbook. And yes, it's time to get nitty gritty and find out what last week's fantasy players did. Who was my top players? Who was my ghost? Who was my trash? Who was the overachiever? Who did the most? And who was the fantasy player of the week? I want to tell you now, it's a lot of football going on now. And whoo, man, it's a lot of action. And whew, it's some things it's getting nitty gritty and it's close to playoff. This is the last week coming up before playoffs. Most of y'all, I would think, this is y'all last week, and playoffs is next week. And some people do it a little bit different. Some people got 4 teams going to playoffs. Some people got 6 teams going in with 2 buys or whatever else. And I really don't agree with this bye week being in this week 14. I don't know who came up with this concept, but they need to think about us fantasy players because this ain't good. This ain't good at all. We starting out, let me just tell you though, coming up this week, we have 6 teams on buys. 6 teams. We have Denver. We have Indianapolis. We have New England. We have Washington. We have Baltimore. And we have Houston. Now, you heard that you have quite a few people on those teams that are key players to your team. You got Lamar Jackson, you got Derrick Henry, you got C.J. Stroud, you got Nico Collins, you got Jaden Daniels, you got Terry McLaurin. I mean, several players, and that hurts. Some people are fighting for their lives right here this last week to get in the playoffs. They fighting. Well, let's just go over the players from last week because let's start it off. It's getting ready interesting. So last week's, let's go over our top players. We're going to start out with the quarterbacks. And, the one and only James Winston. He does what he does, and James Winston's one of a kind. I tell you that the man put up 33 points yesterday. 33. Well, yeah. And he's one of a kind. Like you said, he threw for almost 500 yards, 3 yards away, 497 yards. He was 34. He attempted 58 passes. 58. 37 of 58. 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Man, he slings that ball. But like you said, he had those 2 pick sixes. Hey, but James Winston does what he does. So you got to love the man. Josh Allen out of Buffalo. I mean, the man is 28.42. Let's be exact. You might be in that, break it down PPR league like one of my leagues I'm at. So that's where I come with you from with these points. I mean, y'all system might be a little different, might be higher, might be lower, but I'm just going with a typical PPR league with the point system. So we going Josh Allen, and he just had a simple game, but he still got the 28 40, 28 points off of it. 13, 17, 848 yards, 2 touchdowns. He even ran the ball 3 times for 18 yards and a touchdown. And something that I've never seen. I don't know. It's probably happened before, but the man got credit for a run, catch, a receiving touchdown. I don't know how that happened. It was outrageous. And that's it was the miracle of the snow. Must have been the snow because they was doing what they wanted to do on the 49ers defense. Anyway, Jalen Daniels, boy. Jalen Daniels, 27.64 points this past week. 25 of 30, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Jalen, being a rookie out there doing his thing, he's going to end up being one of the top rookies that he's fighting for, rookie of the year. And he's held some probably people's teams together. I give him that. And he's had a valiant year for there being that rookie season. So hey, more power to you, Mr. Daniels. All right, next up, we're gonna move on to my halfbacks. And these running backs are just doing what they do. And my man, I've told you about Bucky a long time ago. Bucky Irvin out of Tampa Bay, 27 and a half points. Bucky rushed that ball 25 times for 152 yards and one touchdown. Also caught three passes for 33 yards. So yeah, Bucky was bucking. Yeah. So B. John Robinson. Now think of on one of my teams, I had both of these brothers on one team. So yeah, I was balling. Even though one of them was on the bench, but still. So, but B. John Robinson, B. John Robinson out of Atlanta had 25 and a half points. He had rushed that ball 26 times for 102 yards, one touchdown. He also caught six passes for 33 yards. Now, see, Atlanta is hurting these days. Kirk Cousins, they don't even know if he's going to make it another game because they already talking about replaced them. They talk about putting Penix in. I think the Kirk Cousins experiment is over. So, so be it. Next up, Najee Harris out of Pitt. Pretty much 25 points, 24.9 points. He had 16 rushes for 75 yards and one touchdown. But he catches that ball out of the backfield sometime. He has six catches for 54 yards. Hey, those points add up. And Najee, Russell, Jalen Warren, and then you got Pickens over. They producing in Pittsburgh. They're putting up numbers and winning at times. So, hey, Pittsburgh's making them worry. But let me tell you now. I mean, you looking at it, all these winning teams, you just got to watch out for some of them because it's getting down to the nitty gritty and these playoffs are coming up. So they might be sitting some of these top players. Just keep an eye out and listen up because you don't want your top player in your lineup and they will be sitting. Rest time. All right, let's go to the wide receivers. This guy right here, the first up, he was just catching the ball all over the place. Jerry Judy. I mean, James Winston balls had to go somewhere. I'm gonna just tell you, he just had 9 catches, but we're not gonna get in detail until I catch back up with him later. But he had 40 and a half points. 40 and a half. So I expect whatever team he was on, if he was on your team, I expect your team should have won. You should have won. Unless the rest of your team was just junk. Terry McLaurin. I mean, Scary Terry, Jalen Daniels, he's found his man right there. He puts up 27.3 points. He had 8 catches for 73 yards and 2 touchdowns. The man he was targeted 8 times, so he was perfect. You throw that ball his way, he's catching it. So, hey, Terry, keep an eye on him to have him on your squad to get you through this playoffs. Because I'm thinking Washington's going to keep this going. And last but not least, some of my top guys, Mike Evans out of Tampa Bay. You know Baker. Baker got to find a man, and Mike Evans almost shows up almost every time. He had 25.8 points this past week. 8 catches, 118 yards, and 1 touchdown. The man, he was targeted 12 times, so Baker goes to him. So for future, he gets his target, so he's going to add up some yards one way or the other because Baker looks out for him most definitely. All right, next up, one of my favorite positions that I talk about, we go to tight end university that they talk about, even though my guys are not producing to get there, but I got some good ones. The hottest pretty much the hottest thing out there, the top wide. I got to give him the top wide receiver this year, Brock Bowers. I mean, he's doing his thing as a rookie. He's still making Vegas look some type of good, even though Vegas is terrible. But he's out there producing for him. Brock Bowers 30.2 points. Yes, the man gets catches. He gets targeted. He had 10 catches. He's steadily going to double digit catches almost every game. I'm telling you. It's one guy you might want to have. I hope y'all have him on your squad because he will help you get there, produce those extra points from a tight end you always need. 10 catches, 140 yards, one touchdown. Out of 14 targets, yeah. So he could have had more. Let's say that. David Njoku. And Winston, he spreads that ball around. You got to. If you throwing the ball 50 something times, somebody's constantly going to get it. You sharing it with all over the place. I mean, you got the coaches are catching, the ball boys are catching, the kickers catching, the concession stands, the fans. He's sharing that ball. So David had 26.2 points. Yes. So like I said, Jameis, he's going to share. He's getting it out there. So 9 catches, 52 yards, but 2 touchdowns. So those 2 touchdowns add up quick for you. But out of those, he had 9 catches. But check this out. He was targeted 17 times. Yeah, you heard me. 17 times. So I imagine that man's going to get some type of catches out of that. So, hey, James Winston, he keeps going. And, yeah, those receivers and everything else is going to produce. All right, we're going to go to my next guy right here. Trey McBride just came out of nowhere at one point in the season, and he's getting catches and targeted constantly. So now he's put up 21.6. You've seen him almost every week, one of the top tight ends. He had 12 catches, 96 yards. He didn't have no touchdown this week, but 12 catches and 96 yards produced. You know what I'm saying? He didn't drop a ball at all. So, yeah, Arizona, they sneaky at times right now. They sneaky. So, got to watch out for that. And Geno Smith, out of Miami, 21.3 points. Jonnu had 10 catches, 113 yards, not a touchdown, but 10 catches, 113 yards from your tight end. Yeah. That's going to put up some points for you, at least. Because when you seen all these other guys ain't producing, somebody is. Then Tua spurs that ball. He does. So, but then somebody gets hot and he keeps showing them love. So, hey, Smith, you keep doing that, you're going to keep getting that rock. And I see some touchdowns coming up in your future. All right. But next up. All right, who was the top defense? Who was the top defense from this past week? We're going to go to Thanksgiving Day. The prime, I guess you'll say, it was almost the dinner time. As in some people was eating or got done eating before they took that nap. They thought they was going to go to sleep on this game. But no, you stayed up and watched this bad boy, especially you Cowboy fan. Because I don't know if you was expecting this or not, but the Cowboys, hey, their defense showed up. 6 sacks, a fumble recovery, that tip and interception for the touchdown. That pick 6 was like, okay, here we go. And hey, Dallas defense is kind of cocky right now. They feeling themselves with that 18 points. So they like, yeah, our season's not over. Don't count us out yet. So Dallas, hey, if you say so. Your fans are still watching, so hey, keep it going. Even though some fans like, don't do too much, just enough. All right. Next up, we're gonna go to the top kicker. Kickers need love too. Kickers need love. And Che Raylan out of Arizona. The man put up 16 points for us. 16 points. And like I said, if you get a kicker with six, hey, that's great. Any extra points in any position like this is great. You had several kickers that was in double figures, but 16, the man scored all their points except one touchdown. Except one. The man had 5 field goals. He had a 32-yarder. He had a 31-yarder. He had a 24-yarder. He had a 40-yarder. And he had a 23-yarder. Like any past weeks, we seen guys putting up 50, 50, 50. But the thing is, too, if you just kicking and you getting that three, that's all you want. That at 3 points for that kick, and hey, keep it moving. So, hey, he produced for Arizona and got them uh close. So that's all. But the top kicker, you might want to look on. You might want to go look for him on your waiver wire because he's been putting up some numbers lately. He's been putting up some numbers, no doubt. All right, so who overachieved this week? Who overachieved? The man you wasn't expecting out of nowhere. And the thing about it, his whole team. I mean, the team is crumbling. For Jacksonville fans, sorry to hear that, but it's the team is just they getting hurt almost every week. Somebody's going down. So now his quarterback went down, but it was like when Mac Jones, he stepped in and he showed Parker Washington. It's somewhat like Parker. Who's this? Yes, Parker Washington from Jacksonville. He stepped in and hey did his thing because now he stepped up to like the number 2 wide receiver, and Brian Thompson Jr. He's back. He's the number 1, but they are focusing on him. So that's making Parker Washington get more love. So Mac Jones was showing him what he could possibly do. So I mean, he was projected 6.6 points, 6.6 points. I said that a little bit too fast, and produced 24.3 points. Yes, he had 6 catches, 103 yards, and 1 touchdown. You wasn't expecting that, not at all. And they gave, they gave that team a run for the money. They was rocking and rolling, but they couldn't pull the game out. But they showed they still got a little oomph in them. So Jacksonville ain't gave up yet, even though they got backups after backups after backups after backups in. So, hey, Parker, we be watching you. We be watching. You might be coming off the waiver wire. Some teams, yeah. Watch out. All right, but so every week you have those guys that you have in your starting lineups, and then after and when the game is going on, you sitting back and like you looking at the stats of the game, you looking at the game, you like, okay, is he even playing today? Is he doing anything? Then you look, he had targets, and it just people are not producing sometimes. So it happens like that. But you hate it because ooh, I seen. Oh man, I ain't gonna tell you. Yeah, let me tell you. I seen. I looked at my son's team this past week, and he had all of his players was in single digits except one. Yeah, he got spanked bad. But yeah, we gonna keep him out. All right, but the ghosts. Who's my ghost for the week? Trevor Herbert. Trevor Herbert. Trevor Herbert was the man was projected 18 points. He put up 2.3. 2.3. I mean, he had 12 carries, 43 yards. Then it didn't help Carolina at all. I don't know if I didn't do too much, but I don't know if after that fumble? Did they give up on him or they sit him down? I don't know. I doubt it, but 1243 yards ain't gonna do. Especially put up 2.3 and you're expecting him to get almost 20 points. See, that's why one time you cannot look at the projection. That's one thing. You gotta look at matchups. You gotta look at defenses, what they've allowed. Projection at some of these, the ESPN, the sleeper, Yahoo. No, you can't trust them all the time. You can't trust them. So that being said, there's other guys that you couldn't trust this past week. I'm just gonna throw it out there that who who was in the it was like Casper and his friendly ghost. All of them is combined. They was hanging out, I guess, and you didn't know where they were. You had Cal Pitts, you had Will Disley, you had Kirk Cousins, you had George Kittle making snow angels out there, and it wasn't the good snow angels. None of them showed up, so they must have been hanging out together because you probably had these guys that probably in your start lineup, and then you was pissed when none of them showed up to play. Mm, mm. Yeah, yeah, it's terrible, and it's a do or die time now. This is do or die. We need everybody to show up and be ready to play, and when they don't, yeah, yeah, it's not gonna be pretty for some of these teams out here. It's not. All right. Well, with that being said, let me give a shout out to our sponsor real quick, Mile Wide Bird Company. Uh, just one of the delicious birds right here, Paris Town Light. Yes, light beer. It's good for you. Less calories, tastes great. All right, we're going to talk about who we looking to start this coming up week. Who are some of my starters that I'm like, yeah, go ahead and fill them in. We're going to start off right. And because just because Jameis Winston does Jameis Winston things, and you thinking about Russell Wilson against Winston coming up this week, it's probably might be another type of shootout. And Jameis Winston loves those. He wild, wild west. He was sling that ball all day long. So David Njoku, he's going to be one you want to watch because these last 5 weeks, the man is putting up more than he's catching more than 5 balls each and every week, and he's getting targeted almost 10 targets every week. So you're gonna be watching. Just one of the past weeks, he's had less than 5 catches. So watch him. He's had 45 targets in the last 5 weeks altogether, and every catch he's averaging 8.4 yards. So yeah, so he's almost a first down getter every time he catches that ball. So watch out for him. Because Pitt, yeah, they give it up a little something to the tight end. So watch out. So Tua Tungalua. So you have them. They are going against the Jets this week. Even though the Jets have a nice little pass, they have a pass defense. But Tua, he's been putting up numbers lately, and Tua needs these games coming up. He's looking. They still won't be try to get in that hunt some type of way. And with that being said, we're gonna get Smith. We're gonna get the guys all. Hopefully, Hill can get Waddle. Yeah, they trying to get back in that still with get back on the road, get them back to where they need to be, and put up some numbers because we do know Tua can sling that. And I'm thinking, as in the Jets, we don't know what Jets team is going to show up. So you know how that is. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Defense rose. Yeah, I'm looking for a Tua to have a nice game this coming week against the Jets. Tony Pollard. Now, Tony Pollard secretly has had a good year. Is that's one thing. Y'all probably not looked at it too hard, but the Tony Pollard guys, the man's averaging a good like 13, 15 fantasy points a week. And but you really, if you don't have him, you really don't notice. And he's doing a good job for Tennessee, even though he got some trash backer who's handling that ball to him. But Tony's having a good year. And then they're going against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, you got teams that are averaging on the rush 133 yards against Jacksonville each week. So that tells you right there, run that ball on Jacksonville. Plus, you can pass on them, but that makes it even funner. Jacoby Myers, out of Las Vegas. Now, even though you got O'Donnell, ain't O'Donnell passing it to you. Or heck, right now Vegas got injured, so I'm trying to make sure Aiden O'Donnell's the one that's throwing it to you. But I'm thinking he is. So, with that being said, they give up the third. Well, not them. They're going against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay gives up the third most passing yards per game. Now that's something right there because O'Donnell can go ahead and stretch this field and air it out to Jacoby. Now he's averaging 67.6 yards a game. He every catch he's averaging 11.6 a game. So right there, let's tell you because you have Las Vegas gets to that point where they are losing a lot of games. They've lost at least the last six. If I look deeper, there might probably be more than that, but they still snuck a win in. But doing this losing streak, they are getting to the point where they're losing. They've got to come back. So yeah, they got to pass that ball, and they've lost some key little injury right here, running back. So yeah, they don't even know who their running back committee is right now. They bring up next man up and so forth and so on. So they've earned that ball out. So with that being said, they playing catch up more than likely, because we know Baker's gonna throw it. So yeah, yeah, we looking for Myers to have a good game. And CD Lamb, sometimes y'all looking at, yeah, do we play him? I'm telling you, I'm looking for Cooper Rush this week to have a big game and to throw that ball because Cincinnati's pass defense, yeah, they definitely nothing to brag about. They the sixth worst, I guess you want to say, the sixth worst pass defense there is. They give up, yeah, like 223 yards a pass every game. So with that, CD Lamb, I'm looking at him have a big game. Hopefully, because I know at one point he was looking at some nagging injuries, but I'm thinking he's gonna be okay because you think about it, by them playing on Thanksgiving, they had a little extra time for this coming week. So CeeDee Lamb be all right. Dallas look like they got a little spark in them trying to show that their season ain't over yet, but at the same time they playing hard. They want to go out hard. So all right, America's team, go out hard. Why don't you? All right. So now, who do we want to keep on the bench? Because there was some players last week that we should have kept on the bench. So this week, we're gonna start out with Derek Carr. New Orleans down there. They've got a couple guys who's dropped. Myself, Alvin Kamara is the best thing about New Orleans right now. He's having a good year. But Derek Carr, and the Giants, they're going against the Giants. The Giants got the sixth best pass defense, so they contain their player, quarterback. The defense holds their own. So I don't know. I don't see him having a great. And then with them losing Tyson Hill, with them losing him, that doesn't help them at all. but that's just the New Orleans Saints. That's where it goes. This guy, Cal Pitts. Who can somebody go and ask Cal, like, what is he really doing? Does he want to play? Does he not want to play? Because I'm tired of this teeter totting on in a center of what's he want to do. You put him in, he don't score. You don't put him in, he does score. Yeah, we don't know what to do with Cal at the time. But this week they playing against Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota holds their own on their defense. So they hold. They have a great defense against the tight ends. They hold out, and their pass defense is yeah. So with that, I don't know. I don't see because Kirk Cousins. We don't know what's going on in Cal. No, just sit Atlanta down. Just sit a whole team down right there. Just sit them down. I don't want to hear nobody. Atlanta. Now Jalen Warren. Now about this, then you have Pitt going against Cleveland. Now Jalen right now they giving now you're seeing Najee Harris get quite a bit of carries. He's getting more. Jalen Warren will come out of that backfield. He'll catch a couple. He'll get you like 3 catches out of the backfield, maybe 32 yards. He might break one, but at the same time, now he might not show no love at all because when getting the carries though, because they're showing Najee more love, but same time. But now you think about this too, going into the playoffs, and these weeks get longer. Now they might want to start resting. Now keep an eye on Jalen for future because you just might want to have him in your back pocket if they sit Najee in the future. Watch out. Now, Jameson Williams, that's another one because another one you don't know what you want to do with him. I mean, Jeff, he's throwing that ball, but Jameson Williams just ain't producing. He really ain't these days. And Green Bay's defense can be stingy at times. You mean you can shoot out with Green Bay, or Green Bay can contain you. But Detroit, we know Jeff can have those big games where he goes off, but I think this game against Green Bay is going to be harder than some people think because they fighting for position too up at the top. And this last thing, DK Metcalf. And let me ask you, how many really times you heard DK do something this year? Not many. I mean, DK's not even a top 20 wide receiver this year. He's not producing it all. Yeah, I mean, you got Jackson, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith is taking over that number one receiver spot in Seattle. So with that being said, he is producing every week, and DK is like on the outskirt, and he's getting pushed down to 2 to 3 and getting less and less yards every week. He might have a good one every once in a while, but now, I don't see DK, holding up a starting spot and not producing. So I'm gonna sit DK down. Sit him down. Sit him down. Oh man, because plus DK, I almost forgot. He's hampering. He's questionable really right now. It was an injury, maybe. So watch out on the injury report too. But he was talking about his shoulder, but then in the game he's talking about his knee. So yeah, we can't have nobody out there limping for us. Mm mm. All right. Well, next up, we're gonna go and see who do we need to prepare for and pick up because a lot of folks that in some of these teams, a lot of injuries have hit, and it's getting down and gritty and time to show out. And teams are, it's the playoffs, and some teams just fight because that's all they can do. They trying to ruin other people's playoffs. So now, who should we go and pick up off the waiver wire? Hmm. Let's look her. Yes, that guy right there, the first guy from the University of Louisville, Isaac Grindo. Yes. Hey, and it's crazy how he fell in this spot because he showed what he gets early during the season. He showed that he can do a little something. You put him out there, but now he just in one game he took over the number one spot because San Fran, Christian McCaffrey out ACL. He's done. IR, gone for the season. It happens. Next thing you know, then Jordan Mason comes out and run. What? Jordan Mason goes down? Oh, he's out. IR. Jordan Mason done for the season too? Yeah, he's done. So now next man up. That's all it got to be. And that's it's time for you to, do what you gotta do. He is only owned in 5% of leagues because I know at one point people was picking him up because I think I told early in the season pick the man up because you just might need him, but you probably dropped him because once Christian came back, hey, no, he ain't gonna get in. You dropped him, but he's the hottest thing on the waiver wire right now. I mean, he's burning hot. So yeah, I thought about picking him up myself, but somebody else got to him before I did. So yeah, yeah, they got him. They got him. Anyway, so next up we got Kenneth Greenwell, and you like, hey, I ain't heard that name in a while. But see, you got to think about this. Kenneth, well, one thing he just owned in 17% of leagues, but think about this because he's on Philly, and they ain't gonna keep running Barkley to death. Philly's already making their position like they are playoff bound, and they get to that point where they're gonna be resting guys come to fantasy playoffs. You're gonna have Barkley's gonna start resting. You yeah, because he's been battling all season for it. Or then you gotta think, or is he gonna be resting? Or is he gonna be just going after that, most yards ever? So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. But Greenwell would be good to just to handcuff him to Barkley for your Barkley owners just to have. So just watch out for that if they rest him or not. Uh, Another guy. So I talked about Parker Washington earlier. He just owned in 4% of leagues. So we know Trevor Lawrence is out. He's done for the season. So Mac Jones, he's the one that came in and started. Hey, somebody got to get that ball, and he was getting it Parker that love. So now, with that being said, Parker Washington, he's the number 2 wide receiver. So somebody got to get that ball other than Brian Thomas. And how Jacksonville's been playing, their defense is not looking good at all. They playing that comeback ball, so they're gonna be throwing that rock. So look out for Parker Washington on your waiver wire. And now another one. Now this is another one because of injuries. Now Jawan Johnson, he's only out of New Orleans. He's only owned in 6% of leagues. Now, like I said, it's, Mr. Hill's down. Now it's next man up. So he sets him up as the number one tight end now. And Derek Carr will throw it when he can. He's not laid out on the ground, but yeah, he's going to throw that ball. So somebody got to get it because New Orleans, you don't know what's going on really too. That's another organization. They might want to start from scratch. So with that, Juwan Johnson with the tight end, I'm looking for, he was the one to catch. Look for that tight end in the end zone. That in the red zone, look for Johnson to get some looks. Most definitely. And last but not least, another hot defense is going around on the fantasy wire right now. Arizona defense. They owned in 12% of leagues. 12%. Arizona. You like Arizona? Yes, Arizona. They have three straight games down right now. They've put up double digits on their fantasy points. And their schedule right now looks awfully tempting just to have them penciled in for the next coming weeks going into your playoffs. So you get Arizona, hold on to them. Just hold on to them. I'm gonna tell you, believe me, keep an eye on them. I am. All right, but here we go. Now, that's one thing, it's, these teams, you never know who shows up. And the thing about it, it's when you put them in your lineup, it's sometimes these players, I mean, it's do or die. Like I've said already, you putting these players in there because you have faith that they're going to produce and have get you points that what you need to get to win your game. And when they don't, it's so gosh, it's so depressing when you watching them and not do nothing. So I was keeping on this watch on this guy right here because it's just like I have Puka in one league. So then the thing is, I'm looking like, where is this? Where is this cup at? Where's this other guy? Is he not getting the rock? Man, hey, I'm just gonna let me just write it up. This week, trash player of the game. You probably can't see I wrote it pen this week. There we go. Cooper Cup. He was trash. I don't know if he was out there. You couldn't even tell was out there because he wasn't doing too much of nothing. I don't know what's going on with Matt Stafford. Why he ain't getting to the ball or what? But Cooper he was targeted 6 times. Yes, he was. He caught 3 passes for 17 yards. 17 yards. Cooper Cup. I mean, that's the same Cooper Cup for a year ago that was just outstanding. But yeah, he 4.7 points. Yeah, that ain't gonna do nothing. If you can't even get 5 points, not even a nickel. No, he's trash. Gosh, man, gosh, it hates it too. I know people was like, I know he's in your lineup. I know it. But from there, we're gonna go who was the top player. Let's do that because this will bring some excitement to you. But I know a lot of people. I'm just gonna, I know you. You didn't have this man in your lineup. You probably had him on your bench. If you got him on your team, you might have had him on your bench. But if you knew any better, you know who his quarterback is, and he's going to throw that rock out there. But the Don's fantasy player of the week, Jerry Judy. Jerry Judy out of Cleveland. The man put up 40.5 points. He had you heard me, 9 receptions for 235 yards and a touchdown. Jerry Judy was doing this thing. I'm talking about right out the gate. First quarter, whew, if you was a betting man, and I'm not saying that I am, but if you was a betting man, he already covered probably your yards per in the first quarter because he started out hot and he got targeted plenty. 14. I mean, he was targeted. He was targeted. Judy, he was out there just running amok too, running, and he made a new record, as in playing your old team, most yards against playing your former team. New record. He broke Terrell Owens' record that he made back in when he went to Dallas and played the 49ers. He broke that record of, most yards from a receiver playing your old team. But yeah, he was out there just smoking. But you have a game like that, you hate it because you still end up losing because your quarterback can't help but throwing pick sixes. But that's on a whole nother quarter. That's on a whole nother judge. But hey, Jerry Judy, you are the fancy player, the Don's fancy player of the week. So hey, congratulations to you. Hey, you your cup get your cup in the mail. All right, all right. Now, it's crazy enough. So I am fighting for my life. My team is fighting for my life. So I got two teams right now in my four leagues. I got two teams that sold into the playoffs right now, and in one of my dynasty league, I'm fighting to try to take over second, third place, and get that first round. Trying to get, I need to win this like every league, just like any other leagues. I got to win every one of them, every game. My dynasty, I'm trying to fight. If I win this, I think I come in, I'll be in second place. One of my other ones, I'm looking at third place, but then I got to get serious. We got two leagues, two leagues right now. I'm fighting for my life. I mean, I'm on the outside looking in. I'm trying to push the door open, and I feel somebody pushing back. Um, I need to get back and kick this door in because now this is must win time. Must win. I'm talking about one league, 54 Sports Network. I got to win. I have no other choice, but I have to win. I mean, I need to go and I don't know. Somebody needs to blow this game up for me. Something needs to happen because I got to win. I'm on that outside. If I win though, I'm stepping in a good position. As in, one thing I really don't want to play number one team. Yeah, I really wanted to get that second spot that I'm on the other side. But if I gotta play him, I gotta play him. It is what it is when it comes because it's do or die, and it's fantasy football. So you never know what happens. You playing the number one team, they could have a bad week just like any other team. So hey, I'm just trying to get in, trying to get in the party, trying to get in the dance. And for my other league, my work league, I'm sitting there and I have I'd have been okay if I'd have won last week. But last week, who did it for me? Cortland Sutton was on the other man's team, and he ended up showing up. He was down by so many, and he perspired. I lost by like 6 points, and it doesn't help it. Now he got me in this point right now. I'm facing the number two league. I mean, the number two team in the league, and I got to win. So, regardless, it's come down to it. And with all these buys this week too, it's gonna be hard. I know some of y'all other ones are fighting too, so hopefully y'all make it through, just like myself. With that being said, hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in to another the Don's Fancy Playbook. I hope you enjoyed, entertained, and just got a little knowledge from it. What's my thoughts? That's what I'll just try to do. My thoughts, and try to, give you some of my perspective of who should be the guys that's coming up week. So with that being said, hey, y'all have a good week, and may the football fancy gods be on your side. Y'all have a good one. Peace.